Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a TBR for the month of September 2022. If you're interested in seeing what books I'm going to be reading this month, please stick around. As I said in my introduction, this video is going to be my TBR for September 2022. I realized that in my introduction, I said, keep watching for the books that I'm going to read. And that is ambitious in the sense that a lot of times I don't actually stick with my TBR. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I just kind of let the wind take me in terms of my reading. So these are my TBR books, but who knows if I'm actually going to read them this month. We never quite sure what I'm in for. The first book that I want to share with you is one that I've actually already started reading. I picked this book up right at the end of August. I knew that I probably wasn't going to finish it in August, and I didn't. I'm currently filming this right in the beginning of September, and I still have a little bit of a ways to go in this one, but that is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I have heard nothing but incredible things about this book. Everyone raves about it, says it's a 5-star read, best book ever, Taylor Jenkins Reid's best book, and because of that, I've kind of been putting off reading it. I've definitely been burned a couple times in terms of picking up really popular books and being totally let down by them. And I really don't want to get let down by this book. So I've kind of put off reading it on purpose in a sense. Again, I'm not that far into it, but so far I am very intrigued. I'm intrigued about Evelyn Hugo herself. I want to learn about these 7 husbands. And so far, so good. The next book that I wanted to talk about is my September book for my Instagram challenge. I talk a lot about my Instagram challenge. I basically went on Instagram and asked people in my stories to recommend books for me. Anytime that somebody recommended a book that I hadn't read yet, I put it into an Instagram challenge spread in my reading journal. That way I had one book for every month in 2022. Starting in April, that's when I started this challenge, to read. So my September book was recommended by Lady with Less, and that is The Stranger by Camus. I've never heard of this. It does say it's a Nobel Prize winner for literature, which is really interesting. My hope behind the Instagram challenge was for me to pick up books that I maybe wouldn't have discovered otherwise, and I feel like this book very much fits into that. I don't know that I ever would have known about this book or picked this book up or thought to read this book had it not been recommended to me. So I'm definitely really interested to read it. It's also super tiny. I think it's under 150 pages. So I'm hoping it's like a quick, fast, interesting read. We'll see. The next book that I wanted to talk about is something that I picked up recently. I think I mentioned it in my August book haul video. I picked this book up because it seems like it would be set in the literary world, and I wanted to read another book like that, and that's Meet Me in the Margins by Melissa Ferguson. So I read Book Lovers earlier this year when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. And I really wanted to read another book that was set in the literary world, like with the characters working in literature and things like that. And this, based on the title, based on the cover, seems like it's going to fit that. So that's why I ended up picking it up. I don't know what it's about other than what I'm deducing from the title. And I don't think I've really heard people talking about this one a lot. So I'm very curious to give it a read and see what I think. The next book is also one that I talked about in that same August haul video. I picked this one up because I was kind of craving a romance series. I hadn't really read a romance series in a while. Since picking this up, I have read the It Happened One Summer. Is that what it is? No. The Summer I Turned Pretty series. I also read It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker. That technically was like a duality, but I really want to read like a romance series, and this is one that I've definitely seen mentioned on Instagram and talked about on BookTube, so I was very curious to pick it up, and that is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I don't know like the details of what the series is about. I've kind of avoided details about what the series is about because I really, really liked the cover and I felt like that was going to be intriguing enough for me to want to pick it up. And I do really like going into books not knowing what I'm in for. So I'm curious to read this. I'm interested to read this. I'm really hoping that I end up like loving it and wanting to just like continue with the rest of the series right away. I actually don't know how many books are in the series. I keep saying I'm going to look that up and I just haven't done it. So I don't know how many books are in the series or how many are out, but we'll see. I'm definitely very interested in reading this. Next, I have a book that I have definitely seen and heard people talk about. It seems like it's been really well liked, and that is Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting by Clare Pooley. I love this cover. I love the title of this book. It's definitely like intriguing. It's definitely catching my interest. And again, I've heard a bunch of people talk about it here on BookTube. I've heard a bunch of people on Instagram talk about it, and I'm definitely really curious to give it a read. I know that one of the gals that I follow on Instagram, who reads a lot, she posted about this, said that this got her out of a reading slump. So that's definitely makes it even more intriguing and makes me want to pick it up even quicker. So that's one. And then the last book that I was going to share is one that I've had for a little bit. I've really want to read this because I know that it just became a movie and I want to read the movie or watch the movie. And that is Persuasion by Jane Austen. So I've read a couple of Jane Austen books. I read Pride and Prejudice. I saw the Pride and Prejudice film and loved it. In the last few months, I think it was March, I read Emma. I loved Emma. I saw the Emma film with Anya Taylor-Joy. I think I saw it before I actually read the book. So, but I've really liked Jane Austen's books, but I've also really liked the film adaptations of her books. So I really, really want to read this because I want to watch the film adaptation. I think it's on Netflix, but I'm not 100% sure. It's also a little bit shorter. Like, this is obviously not nearly as long as Emma was. So hoping that it makes it a little bit easier for me to get through because I tend to struggle a little bit with some of the classics because of the language. The last thing that I just wanted to mention before finishing this video is about new releases. So I think I talked in my August haul video about the fact that I'm not planning on doing any other type of book haul for the rest of the year. I'm really going to try to read the books that I have, with the exception of picking up new books that are new releases that I really want to read. In the month of August, I picked up Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. That was a new release that I really, really wanted to read. And when I was trying to come up with my TBR for September, I was like, I swear there is a new book coming out in September that I really want to read. I initially thought that it was the second book in the Atlas 6 series, but I looked that up and that book is not coming out until October. So then I remember that Taylor Jenkins Reid was having a new book come out, and I was like, oh, that must be it. Carrie Soto is Back must be coming out in September. It came out at the end of August, and I totally did not realize that. So I definitely want to pick that book up. I don't know that I will necessarily read it in September because I'm already reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. But I definitely want to pick it up and I want to read it. So I'm either going to, I'm going to pick it up now, but I'm either going to get to it September or you're going to see it pop up on my October TBR. I'm just not quite sure yet. But yeah, I'm very interested to read the books that I picked for September. I think there's definitely some ones I'm a little curious or honestly even a little bit nervous about, like The Stranger and Persuasion, but I do think I have a really good stack of books. I'm very excited to dive into them. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments about my TBR, if you have any thoughts about these books because you've read them before, please don't hesitate to put them down below. Definitely keep things spoiler free if you can. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.